Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel Green Crystal. Today I'm here with the continuation of the chapter Diversity in Living Organism, the last part of this chapter, that is nomenclature. Okay, so before starting to this, I just want to say do this activity 7.3. Okay, they have shown here, find out the names of the following animals and plants in as many languages as you can. So they have given here tiger, peacock, ant, neem, lotus, potato. Okay, so just try to do this. You will understand the importance of nomenclature. So what is nomenclature? It is a systematic naming of the living organisms. Systematic naming of living organisms, or we can say the choosing the name of the living things, or choosing the name for the things in disciplined scientific way. So as we know that it is difficult for the people all over the world to know all the languages, to know the speaking, writing, etc. of all the languages. Just I'll say about this. Just if we see the name of these, like mango. For mango, like in English we call it mango, right? In Urdu and Hindi we call it aam. In Arabic, manja. Manja in Arabic. Then macaw in Chinese. Okay, in many other languages you might have known. Okay, so for cat I'm telling again, just for in English what we are calling it, cat, right? Cat in English. Then again in Hindi and Urdu we are calling it billi. Okay, in Arabic it is called as qittun. Then in Greek it is called as yata, and in French it is called as chat. In Kannada we are calling it as bekku. Okay, so many other Indian languages if you go through, puka. Okay, in Malayali. And okay, other, if you go for international again, then it is garba in Persian. Okay, and kedi in Turkish. Okay, so I have just told in few languages, very few languages. So there are many languages all over the world, and it is very difficult for the people, for a person, or for scientists also even, to know the languages, speaking or writing, etc. of for all the words. Okay, means it is very difficult. So different languages leads to the misconception. Okay, so what is the solution? Solution is scientific name, chemical symbols for the chemicals, or formulae, etc. These are the solutions. Just remember the solution: scientific names, chemical symbols, formulae, etc. are the solution. These giving the scientific name, chemical symbols and all, it is called as nomenclature. Okay, so every recognized species on earth is given a two-word name. That is, two-word name is called as binomial nomenclature. What that two word is called? Binomial nomenclature. Okay, so these binomial nomenclature means what? Giving two words scientific name. That is called binomial nomenclature for every recognized species on the earth. And these scientific names are constant all over the world, and it prevents the confusion. Okay, and what are the benefits? Means and we know that these scientific names are always unique names. Okay, and it is easy identification of the organisms all over the world, which prevents the misconception, prevent the confusion. Okay, so it was introduced by whom? Carolus Linnaeus in the 18th century. Okay, and the process of naming, giving the scientific name, that is called as classification. So who is Carolus Linnaeus? On page number 94 in your book they have given, see here, Carolus Linnaeus or Carl von Linné was born in Sweden and was a doctor by profession. He was interested in the study of plants. At the age of 22 he published his first paper on plants. While serving as a personal physician of a wealthy government official, he studied the diversity of plant in his employer's garden. So where he studied in his employer's garden, he studied the diversity of plants. Later he published 14 papers and also brought out the famous book Systema Naturae, from which all fundamental taxonomical research have taken off. His system's classification was a simple scheme for arranging plants as and so as to be able to identify them again. So we have learned in this chapter how nicely the Carolus Linnaeus have explained the classification, how nicely we can do the classification, we can identify the each and every feature of the organ which is similar and which are different. So heads off to him, very nice work he has done. Okay, so here remember, when we actually name the species, we do not list out the whole hierarchy of the group it belongs to, right? Instead what we do, we limit the writing name of the genus and species. We are not writing the full hierarchy, the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus. We are not writing. Just we are writing the genus and species of that organism. In which language? In which form? Latin form. Remember this. Okay. And it is accepted all over the world in the Latin form. So the convention of the writing scientific names are, it begins with name of the genus, always begins with the capital letter. Okay, name of the genus always begins with the capital letter. Name of the species we are writing always begins with the small letter, or full genus name we are full species name we are writing in small letters. And when printed it is in italic form. Okay, and written by hand means we must underline it separately. So just have a look over the scientific name of the mango and cat. I told about the mangoes and cat in different languages, no? So here Mangifera indica and Felis catus. Name of the genus in capital, start from capital. Name of the species start from small letters. And when we are writing by hand, we have to underline it separately, and when we are printing it, it must be italicized. Okay, so we'll just go through the taxonomy of the human. So taxonomy or the classification of the organism was proposed by, again it means whatever the classification is, hierarchy is there, no, it is called as Linnaean hierarchy, because it was again proposed by Swedish botanist, what we learned about Carolus Linnaeus. So it is called as Linnaean hierarchy. What is that? We have learned about these kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species in the first part of this chapter. In the first part 1 of this video I have explained about this. Okay, so just we'll go through the systematic position of human, that is Homo. Okay, Homo sapiens. So how we are writing the systematic position or in hierarchy form. So first it is kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primates, family Hominidae, genus Homo, and species Sapiens. So when we are writing the scientific name for human, what we will write? We will write just Homo sapiens. Okay, and we will underline it separately. So this is for today. So inshallah we will move on to the next chapter. So Allah Hafiz, Jazakallah khair for watching. Keep watching, keep waiting for my next video. Inshallah I'll be back soon. Allah Hafiz.